Hey everyone, I wanted to dig a little deeper into Nvidia's stock in this video and elaborate on what's going on. I want to see the next driver for Nvidia's growth, and it's going to come from the automotive sector according to Nvidia's management. I want to see where the company made progress in large customers with large language models and elaborate on the inner workings of the business to try and get an overview of how the company will progress over the next few quarters and then longer term. How long is this surge in demand for artificial intelligence going to last? Is there going to be a sudden collapse of revenue? That's, I think, one of the bigger concerns with investors that are on the sidelines, feeling like they missed out on Nvidia stock, and also investors that have been holding Nvidia stock feeling like it's a game of musical chairs and they want to get out before the music stops, feeling like there might be a sudden drop off, a sudden stop to demand for artificial intelligence. So let's take a deeper look here.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so Nvidia is saying that they expect automotive to be their largest enterprise vertical within the data center this year, which is going to drive a multi-billion-dollar revenue opportunity across on-premises and cloud consumption. And this is what I've been forecasting for Nvidia longer term is the automotive segment is going to drive that next surge in revenue for Nvidia. The beginnings were the cloud service providers like AWS, Microsoft, Alphabet, and others. The next step, the next leg could be automotive. Our vehicles are being increased with artificial intelligence or infused with artificial intelligence more and more lately, with companies trying to enhance those driverless car capabilities. It doesn't have to be full on self driving, it could be simple or smaller steps towards that aim. Things such as emergency braking or lane assist when you're trying to switch lanes, or cruise control, adaptive cruise control. Those are incremental steps forward that car manufacturers can make in achieving full self driving. What's more, the computing needs inside the car are also needed in terms of the electronic console or the touch screen consoles that are now being more capable. They're being closer to a tablet like an iPad than they were before, where it was just a simple radio dial and a CD player. They're getting, infused with more computing, and they need GPUs, which will make those even better, increase their capabilities, and then they can sell those cars at higher prices. So that's one area that I'm optimistic on for Nvidia being that next growth driver is automotive. And I suspect this will be a longer term trend that can really boost Nvidia's revenue, especially if there's an acceleration in that driverless car capability going forward. It's not going to be this year, probably not next year, but maybe 3 years from now, we get a step increase in driverless car capabilities. The next leg here for NVIDIA was Meta Platforms, which announced the Llama 3 large language model that was trained on a cluster of 24,000 H100 GPUs from NVIDIA. So Meta Platforms getting into the mix here with their artificial intelligence capabilities, rivaling that of others and continuously increasing. Given that Meta Platforms has billions of daily active users engaging with its apps, with its family of apps, including Facebook and Instagram, Meta Platforms can take a significant market share here in large language models from the broadest use case, the easiest use case, right? People are not going to use Meta Platforms for, professional use cases, most likely. But, those simple use cases, they could gain a significant usage of consumer usage of large language models. Nvidia is saying they expect to see continued growth opportunities as inference scales, both with model complexity as well as the number of users and number of queries per user, driving much more demand for AI compute. And I agree with this statement. I think we're still in the early stages of artificial intelligence in terms of how many people are using it and how often they're using it. I think just like Nvidia says, it's going to increase in terms of both the number of users and the amount each user spends on on these large language models. And it's going to be a positive virtuous cycle that's going to feed on itself. As these models become more effective, people are going to use them more often. As people use them more often, that's going to allow the models to get more effective. And also, on the back of this, as people are using it more often, it's driving more revenue for the companies that are providing these artificial intelligence use cases. And that's going to drive further investment in the capabilities that they can offer. And that's going to make it even more effective, and on and on and on. And the positive virtuous cycle can continue for at least a few years. It just came out like a year and a half ago. So this can go on at least for a few years, and that's going to be great news for Nvidia and Nvidia stock investors. This is just the beginning of this opportunity. I don't expect the opportunity to end anytime soon. In fact, it's still growing at very large growth rates. And so I don't think Nvidia stock investors should fear a sudden stop in the industry. Competition, of course, is spending billions of dollars trying to catch up to Nvidia. There is still no evidence of any competitor approaching anywhere near Nvidia. So as of now, that's not a significant fear, although there's always a chance of a disruptor to come out of nowhere and eclipse Nvidia, right? There's still the chance of that. But in terms of existing players like AMD to rise up and threaten Nvidia, that doesn't look like to be the case. Nvidia is making big steps I'm sorry, AMD is making big steps forward, but they're still at least one step behind Nvidia, and you can argue closer to two steps behind. And I would agree with you. They're more like 2 or 3 steps behind Nvidia instead of just one step behind. So that shouldn't be a large fear for Nvidia stock investors either. And finally, in the first quarter, they worked with over 100 customers building AI factories, ranging in size from hundreds to tens of thousands of GPUs, with some reaching 100,000 GPUs. Wow, that's a large number of GPUs and just 100 customers. Now, these AI factories, right now, they make the most sense for larger customers, larger companies. Think companies the size of Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta Platforms. Those are no-brainers. But then you have other companies like Walmart, Home Depot, Target, those Netflix, they can also benefit from Nvidia as well to make their recommendation systems more effective, to make their data analysis more effective, to utilize their existing massive loads of data to deliver insights. So right now it's primarily those very large businesses, but as Nvidia's GPUs become more effective, as they become more cost effective, this can expand to smaller businesses, more, smaller, not like mom and pop businesses, but smaller, like not the size, it doesn't have to be the size of Meta Platforms. It could be Pinterest, it could be Snapchat, right? So it's making it more accessible and more broadly available. And as it steps down, there's a larger number of businesses that Nvidia can reach. So right now it's reaching those very large businesses first, and it's working down the stack, reaching those smaller businesses, but there's a greater quantity of those businesses available. So wow, Nvidia performance was exceptional in the latest quarter. Stock prices up significantly, and from the looks of it, there's a long runway to go here for Nvidia. As a reminder, I still have Nvidia stock rated as a buy. In fact, I still have it rated as one of my top 25 stocks to buy in 2024. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.